Hi, I'm Megan and welcome to my kitchen. Today I'll be sharing 4 recipes for the air fryer: an appetizer, main dish, side dish, and even dessert. These are easy, budget-friendly, and delicious. Today's video is also part of a collab hosted by Sarah over at Sarah's Realm. I'll include a link to Sarah's channel as well as a link to the playlist in the description box below. As soon as you're done watching my video, be sure to check the playlist out for a ton of great air fryer recipes. If you're coming over to my channel from the playlist, welcome. I post weekly grocery haul and what's for dinner videos, recipes, and more. I hope you'll consider subscribing to my channel. Okay, let's get into the recipes. Here is the air fryer that I have. It is a Secura 4.2 quart. I got it on Amazon a couple years ago for about $80. I love this. I use it several times a week. You can cook everything from proteins, vegetables. You can bake in this, cook frozen foods, warm up leftovers. I just love having an air fryer. First up, I'm going to make bacon wrapped jalapeno poppers. If you don't have an air fryer, you can totally make these in the oven. But to get started, I've washed and dried a couple jalapenos, and then I'm going to remove the seeds and membranes. I'm using this little gadget my husband got me for Christmas as a stocking stuffer a couple years ago, but you can just cut them in half and remove the seeds and membranes with a spoon. But once I remove the seeds, I'm just going to cut them in half and lay them out on my cutting board, and I'm going to sprinkle them with just a little bit of salt. You don't have to do this, but I just feel like it gives the jalapeno pepper itself just a little bit of flavor. And anytime you're using jalapenos or other hot peppers, you just want to make sure that you wash your hands really, really well after handling them. If you're really sensitive to heat, you can even use latex gloves. Now that my jalapenos are prepped, I'm going to set them aside and get started on the filling. I have some of this chive and onion cream cheese spread that I'm going to use, but you can just use regular cream cheese. And for these 3 jalapenos, I used about 1/3 of this container of cream cheese. So I'm going to add that to the mixing bowl here. And then I'm going to add in some shredded cheese. Use your favorite shredded cheese. Here I have a mixture of cheddar and mozzarella, and this is about 1/4 cup. And then I'm going to season this with just a little bit of chili powder, garlic powder, salt and pepper to taste, and again, you can use whatever seasonings you'd like. Next, I'm going to mix that together really well, and then I'm just going to stuff that into the jalapenos. Once my peppers are stuffed, I'm going to wrap them in some bacon. I have a few slices of bacon that I've cut in half, and I'm just going to wrap that around my peppers. You want to try to make sure that you cover as much of the cheese mixture as possible, and you can also secure the bacon with some toothpicks if you'd like. And once those are all wrapped, I'm going to place them into my air fryer. I cooked these at 350 degrees for about 14 to 16 minutes. You just want to cook them until the peppers are softened and the bacon is crisp. And here are the finished poppers. These are so good. Now, to be completely honest with you, I have never made these poppers and not had the cheese leak out. No matter what I do, the cheese always leaks out of my peppers. So if they leak out of yours, don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. Just scoop the cheese up and put it right back in the pepper and they'll still be delicious. Next up, we're going to make our main dish, which are ranch pork chops. I've made these a few times. My husband does not like pork chops at all, and he actually really likes these. So to get started in this first little dish here, I'm going to add an egg, a little bit of salt and pepper, and then about 1/2 cup of milk, and whisk that together. Now in this second dish, I'm going to add 2 cups of breadcrumbs and a packet of dry ranch dressing mix, and I'm going to stir that together really well. And I apologize about this next part. I really thought that I was recording, but obviously I forgot to hit record. But all you're going to do is to take your pork chops, dip them on both sides into the egg, and then into the breadcrumbs. And then I'm going to place them into my air fryer basket. I'm going to spray the top with a little bit of cooking spray and cook it for about 5 or 6 minutes on the first side. Give it a flip, spray it with a little more spray, and cook it for another 5 or 6 minutes. And how long you cook these really depends on the thickness of your chops. You'll just want to cook them until they're about 145 degrees, and here is the finished pork chop. For the side dish, I'm going to make Cajun sweet potatoes. I really love this recipe. I've made it for years. I like it because it's a healthier side dish and there's a lot of flavor to it. But I decided to try them in the air fryer tonight. So to get started, I've washed my sweet potatoes and I'm going to cut the ends off and peel them. Sometimes I peel them, sometimes I don't. It's up to you. But I'm just going to peel them and then I'm going to cut them into chunks and place them into this mixing bowl. Now I'm going to add just a little bit of oil and toss that around. Next, I'm going to add just a little bit of salt. The recipe doesn't call for this, but I feel like it just brings all of the other flavors out. And then I'm going to add my seasonings. Now, I will include the recipe for this as well as the recipes for the other items in today's video in the description box below, which lists the amounts of all of the ingredients. But you're basically going to add rosemary, thyme, garlic powder, onion powder, pepper, a little bit of brown sugar, paprika, and then a little bit of cayenne pepper to your taste. I'm going to stir that around really well and then place that into my air fryer basket. I'm going to cook this at 360 degrees for about 25 to 35 minutes or until the potatoes are tender. How long it takes will really just depend on how big you cut your potatoes. And here are the finished sweet potatoes. Last up for dessert, I'm going to make s'mores. Did you know you can make s'mores in the air fryer? I sure didn't. When I was doing research for this video, I wanted to make a dessert recipe. And so as I was looking at recipes, I came across this for s'mores and I thought, no way, if this works, this is awesome. Because, you know, right now it's the middle of winter, at least here in the United States anyway. And here in Tennessee, it's been cold. And so, you know, you can't really have s'mores unless you have a fire pit. Not everyone has one. So I wanted to give this a try and I'm so glad that I did. These turned out really well. So I highly recommend you give this a try. Now to get started, I'm going to take a sheet of these graham crackers and break them into half so that there's like 2 little squares for each half. I'm going to place those into the bottom of the air fryer basket. Now I'm going to add my squares of Hershey's chocolate to each graham cracker. The recipe called for 2 squares, but I was a rebel and added 3 squares to each graham cracker. And then I'm going to place this into the air fryer at 390 degrees for 1 minute. And you want to do that so that the chocolate starts to melt a little bit so that the marshmallow doesn't go flying around in the air fryer. So after a minute, you'll see that the chocolate has started to melt a little bit. I'm going to add 1 jumbo marshmallow to each graham cracker and press it down a little bit so that the marshmallow sticks to the chocolate. And this is going to go back into the air fryer for another 2 minutes. You could cook this for a minute or so longer if you like your marshmallows extra toasty. But here are the s'mores out of the oven, and you're just going to top this with another graham cracker square. And here are the s'mores. These were so delicious. This took not even 5 minutes to put together. So I highly recommend you give this a try if you have never tried this. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, please hit the thumbs up button below and subscribe to my channel. Have a great rest of the day. Bye-bye.